Welcome to The Explainer. All right, let's talk about something that, well, pretty much everyone goes through, but we often get the treatment all wrong. We're going to dig into the science and figure out why just trying to stop it might be missing the whole point.
So, here's how we're going to break it down. First, what's the actual danger here? Then we'll get into the number one most important solution, rehydration. After that, we'll talk about slowing the system down, when you should actually fight the invaders, and finally, how to get everything back in balance.
Okay, first things first, we have to completely reframe how we think about this. We all focus on how inconvenient it is, but medically speaking, that's not the real issue at all.
So, let me ask you, what do you think is the single biggest thing a doctor is worried about? It's not the discomfort, it's not the running back and forth, it's something way more fundamental. Yeah, the definition itself is pretty simple, right? But that last part, that's the absolute key. The real danger is the massive loss of water and essential salts, your electrolytes. We're not talking about a small amount, you can lose liters of fluid. And that leads to dehydration, which can become incredibly serious, even life-threatening. And that brings us perfectly to the most critical piece of the puzzle. The very first thing you need to do isn't about stopping the symptom, it's about aggressively replacing what your body is losing. And this right here is the gold standard. It was developed by the World Health Organization, and it's called an Oral Rehydration Solution, or ORS. You can think of it like a superpowered, scientifically engineered sports drink. It's a precise, perfect formula of salts and glucose, designed to get absorbed by your body as fast as humanly possible.
Now this is where it gets really clever. What's the secret sauce here? Well, our intestines have this special gateway, a sodium-glucose co-transporter. The glucose in the drink acts like a buddy, grabbing onto the sodium and pulling it through that gateway into your cells. And here's the magic trick. Wherever sodium goes, water has to follow. It's just a brilliant little biological hack to get you rehydrated fast.
Okay, so once you've got the rehydration part covered, and only then, can we talk about actually managing the symptoms. And there are basically two ways to go about it. You can either hit the brakes on the whole system, or you can try to reduce how much fluid is leaking out in the first place. So for hitting the brakes, you've got these two main players. They both work on opioid receptors in your gut to slow things down. But there's a huge difference. Loperamide is designed to just stay in the gut, so it doesn't really affect your brain. That makes it a lot safer. Difenoxylate, on the other hand, is an older drug, and it can get into the brain, which is why it's not the first choice these days. Now for the other strategy. Instead of just slowing everything down, a drug like racecadotril does something different. It basically boosts your body's own natural painkillers right there in the gut. And those natural chemicals send a signal to your intestines to, stop secreting so much water. It's a bit more targeted, tackling the leak at its source. Okay, this is a really important one. The first instinct for many people is to think, I need an antibiotic. But for most cases of acute diarrhea, that's actually the wrong move. Antibiotics are very specific weapons, and you only bring them out when you know for sure that a specific bacterial or parasitic invader is causing the trouble. And this table shows you exactly what I mean. You see? It's not about taking any old antibiotic. It's about precision. If you have Shigella, you use one specific drug. If it's cholera, use a totally different one. This is about matching the right weapon to the confirmed enemy, not just carpet bombing your system. All right, so once the acute problem is under control, the job isn't done. The focus then shifts to recovery and the long-term health of your gut. And that is where probiotics enter the picture. You've heard the term a million times, but what are they really? Well, simply put, probiotics are the good guys, beneficial bacteria and yeasts. The whole idea is to reintroduce these helpful microbes to help get your gut's natural ecosystem back to a healthy, balanced state. So how do they work? Think of it like a turf war happening in your gut. By bringing in more of the good guys, you're helping them compete with any bad guys for food and space, basically crowding them out. This is especially useful if you've been on antibiotics, because those can wipe out your good bacteria right along with the bad. So if you take away just one thing from all of this, let it be this pyramid of care. At the very bottom, the absolute foundation of everything is rehydration with ORS. Everything else, the symptom stoppers, the antibiotics, they're just tools to be used in specific situations built on top of that stable, hydrated base. Without that base, nothing else really matters.
And that leaves us with one last really interesting question to think about. If your body is trying to flush out a nasty bacteria or some kind of toxin, when is it actually counterproductive to stop that process? You could potentially be trapping the enemy inside. It's a critical question, and it really highlights why just blindly trying to stop the symptom isn't always the smartest move.